After watching this movie, I kind of feel like that scene in the Ghostbusters.
We got one!
Yeah, we gotta talk about this. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing Gremlins 2, The New Batch. I have done a review for the first Gremlins movie. I released it a few weeks ago. There will be a link below for that. And here we are with the sequel. Before we go any further, if you could be a dear and hit that like button and that subscribe button if you haven't already. It puts a smile on this fella's face if you do. We all want to see that, don't we? So Gremlins 2 really does kind of pick up where we left off last time. Gizmo is back in a cage in the strange Chinese mythical shop. Zach Galligan returns to play Billy, only a little bit older. He's still with his girlfriend from the first film. Billy is now working for a fictional place called Clamp Tower. It's pretty on the nose about a certain someone. It's all very sanitized and bleak and dull and lacking imagination. It's all about productivity and numbers and bonsai trees and all that shit. And Christopher Lee just so happens to work at the animal testing facility at this tower. And in the testing, Gizmo gets some water on him and, well, you know the rules. More gremlins. And the capers begin. I went into this movie slightly intrigued because I heard that this was quite controversial. It split audiences straight down the middle. Some loved it, thought it was a completely underrated gem, and others thought it was useless, awful, and pretty much wiped its ass with everything the first one stood for. And to be honest, for the first 45 minutes to an hour of this movie, I really didn't see why it was so controversial. I was like, this is a very run-of-the-mill sequel. We're just doing exactly what we did the first time. We just changed the environment. Why is this such a strange talking point? And then as the Gremlins actually get loose and do their thing, it's like the movie itself snorted a giant bag of cocaine. It just changes. Pace, tone, everything. It's pretty wild, but I liked it. It does just come out of nowhere. But when you think about it and you think about the Gremlins' nature and their behavior and the fact that this film is quite meta, it makes sense that the tone of the film would change along with their arrival. I actually thought the animatronics to make the Gremlins move and blink their eyes and move their lips was already impressive in the first one, but here it actually seems even better. The scene of Gizmo walking could be better, but I like the audacity. I like that they tried to do it. But the cocoon scenes and the hatching scenes with the boils on the gremlin's back, and you can kind of see the little baby gremlins inside. It's like, holy hell, how did you do that? That's seriously impressive, Rick Baker. Well done. I mean, I knew the guy was good because of, American Werewolf in London and other projects, but I might go as far as say that this might be his most impressive work, and that's saying something because that dude does nothing but impressive work. I also think he made the Gremlins more scary in a way. Why are they kind of so wet now? That's just creepy and gross. I don't want to touch that. The added flavour of the fact that some of them mutate in the testing facility, which I actually thought was a very clever spin to do, also adds that wild card nature that I felt the first one had, where you were like, I know something bad's going to happen, but I don't know what. It just keeps you on your edge of your seat, interested to know what's going to happen. I thought the performances from the humans were better this time around as well. I thought the humans were a bit of a letdown in the first one. They didn't feel completely natural to me. Here, they did a bit more. There's still the odd moment where they do things and it's a bit like, okay. But it's better, it's more believable. You understand the people's motives, even if they're a little bit stereotypical at times. Going back to the Gremlins, as they come into the movie, like I say, not only does the tone and the pace change quite significantly, but the film becomes incredibly meta and almost sarcastic, I would say. They give each of the Gremlins a whole new personality that's quite specific to the gremlin itself and what potion or thing they did to evolve into that. You have a brainy gremlin who can talk, you have a spider gremlin, which was pretty awesome, to be honest with you. You have a lady gremlin, there's a goofy gremlin, there's a wide range, and it helps make them stand out a little bit better because realistically from the first one, I only really remember Gizmo and Stripe. I didn't necessarily like the gremlin that could talk. I thought that was maybe taking things a little bit too far. It kind of ruined the mystery of how the gremlins work and operate when he starts talking about civilization and they want to be civilized. I get the joke. I also...
He's speaking in tongues, Lois. Our son is possessed.
Appreciate the joke. I thought that was funny. But I don't know, I just kind of like not knowing what they really want to achieve. Maybe he was lying. I mean, gremlins are mischievous little things. It doesn't mean he was actually telling the truth. That's what I'm going to tell myself anyway. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was quite clever and ahead of its time. My favourite scene is actually when the Gremlins take over and the film like warps and the voices all change and suddenly the screen burns and you see silhouettes of the Gremlins taking over and they start playing other movies. That's kind of genius. If an audience member wasn't paying attention, they certainly will be at that moment. And to bring the movie back in with Hulk Hogan, it's a clever move, because if people were annoyed that the film came to a crashing halt all of a sudden, who doesn't like Hulk Hogan? You take a gamble and you pack a parachute just in case it goes sideways. It's equally as dark as the first one as well, I would say. It doesn't go overboard, but it's still there. It doesn't lose its mean spirit. I strangely like this film a lot, because on paper, if someone described how this film plays out in contrast to the first one, I wouldn't be very excited and I'd be quite concerned that I'd be sitting down to watch quite a bad film. And don't get me wrong, there are some weird bits and moments that don't necessarily work for me. It probably was excellent at the time, but the whole stop motion Bat Gremlin? It just doesn't look great. It's quite janky and strange, and when you look at some of the background characters as well, they're not really reacting properly either. It's not my favourite part of the film, to be honest with you. I do like the paper shredder scene though, that's fun. I like that one. Yeah, this was a pleasant surprise. I can actually see why this would split audiences. I don't think everyone would like it, but I did. I really enjoyed it actually. I thought it was quite smart. I thought it was ahead of its time. I thought it was enjoyable. So I'm going to give Gremlins 2, the new batch, a 9 out of 10. I can't actually choose which one I like more. I like both of them, but for completely different reasons. I think the only way I can realistically separate them is that if you put a gun to my head and said, which one do you want to watch again, I'd be more inclined to watch the second one again. It just was the more interesting watch. But that's no disrespect towards the first one. The first one I would recommend for Christmas for sure. Thanks for watching this review. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please be sure to leave a comment. I'm sure there's plenty of you that have something to say about Gremlins 2, the new batch. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you on the next review.